5,000 years ago, without cranes, machines, or written plans, ordinary people moved stones weighing more than 25 tons.
They raised them toward the sky, yet left no written explanation of why. Stonehenge's greatest mystery is not how it was built, but why it had to exist. "5,000 years ago, people with no cranes, no machines, and no written plans dragged enormous stones across Britain and raised them toward the sky. Some weighed more than 25 tons. But the greatest mystery is not how Stonehenge was built. It is why its builders believed this impossible monument had to exist. Some stones traveled nearly 240 kilometers. One may have traveled more than 700. Generations worked on this monument.
Yet they left behind no explanation, no names, no sacred text, no final message.
Only a circle of stone and a secret that has survived for 5,000 years. Long before the famous stone circle appeared, people were already visiting this landscape.
Ancient post holes discovered near Stonehenge may date back thousands of years before the monument itself. Their purpose remains uncertain, but they suggest that this land may have held a
special meaning long before the first stone was raised. During the Neolithic period,
Britain was changing. Communities cleared forests, cultivated crops, raised animals, and established permanent settlements. Their survival depended upon understanding
the seasons. They carefully observed the sun, changing weather, animal movement,
and the repeating cycles of life and death. Salisbury Plain offered wide horizons
and natural routes through the landscape, but practical advantages cannot fully
explain why this exact location became sacred. Generation after generation returned here.
Something about the surrounding land, sky, and movement of the sun convinced them that this place was different. Around 3000 BC, people began cutting an enormous circular ditch into the chalk. They had no metal shovels. Much of the work was probably completed using tools made from deer antlers, animal bones, wood, and stone.
Garages. Yet they created a vast enclosure, measuring approximately 100 meters across.
Inside the circular enclosure, the builders created a ring of 56 pits. Today, they are known as the Aubrey Holes. They may once have held wooden posts or standing stones.
Their original purpose remains debated. But what archaeologists later discovered inside?
Some of these pits revealed Stonehenge's darker beginning. Fragments of burned human bone were found.
Inside the Aubrey Holes and other areas of the monument, around 150 people may have been buried at Stonehenge between approximately 3000 and 2800 BC. Before it became a towering circle of stone,
Stonehenge was already a ceremonial place connected to the dead. These were probably not ordinary.
Accidental burials. Cremating a body required large amounts of wood, careful preparation, and organized ceremony. The dead may have been respected ancestors, spiritual leaders, or members of influential families. Whoever they were, their remains were deliberately placed inside sacred ground.
No inscription reveals their names. No surviving symbol explains why they were selected.
The living continued returning to this place, but the meaning of their ceremonies has vanished.
Then, centuries after the first burials, something extraordinary happened. Stonehenge was completely transformed.
Around 2500 BC, enormous stones began appearing at the center of the monument. This was not a small modification. It was a project demanding leadership, food, and skilled labor, and cooperation between hundreds, perhaps thousands of people. Neolithic Britain was attempting something it had never achieved before. The largest stones are known as sarsens. Some originally stood more than 7
Meters high and weighed approximately 25 tons. Geological analysis
suggests that most came from the Westwoods area, around 25 kilometers away. Moving even one across prehistoric terrain would have been an extraordinary operation. The builders could not choose stones randomly. Each one required the correct size, strength, and shape. The largest would form the central trilithons, 2 upright stones, supporting a massive horizontal lintel. Selecting the wrong stone could waste
Months of labor before transportation had even begun. No one knows exactly how the
sarsens were transported. They may have been secured to heavy wooden sledges and pulled, with ropes across prepared tracks. Wooden rollers might have helped on firmer ground. But mud, steep slopes, broken ropes, or a sudden shift in weight could have caused disaster. Hundreds of people may have pulled together, while others stabilized the stone, prepared the route, repaired equipment, and supplied food. Every movement required perfect coordination.
Without engines, human cooperation became the machine. Stonehenge's greatest technology
May not have been a tool, but the organization of people. After reaching the site, the sarsens were carefully shaped with hammerstones. Workers repeatedly struck the rough surfaces, removing small fragments until the desired form appeared. Some inward-facing surfaces received greater attention, suggesting the monument was designed to look most impressive to people standing inside it. The builders carved raised projections called tenons into the upright stones. Matching mortise holes were cut into the lintels. The lintels were also joined together, using tongue and groove connections. These techniques resemble sophisticated
woodworking, but Stonehenge's builders reproduced them on stones weighing several tons.
A deep foundation pit was prepared with one sloping side. The bottom of the stone was moved toward the opening and allowed to slide into position. Using ropes and wooden supports, workers slowly pulled it upright. The remaining space was tightly packed with chalk and rubble, locking the enormous stone into place. The lintels created an even greater problem. Each horizontal stone had to be raised above the uprights and positioned with remarkable precision. Timber platforms, wooden levers, or earthen ramps may have been used. One mistake could send several tons of stone crashing down, destroying months of work in seconds.
The outer sarsens formed a nearly continuous ring of upright stones and curved lintels.
Inside stood 5 enormous trilithons arranged in a horseshoe. Their increasing height directed attention toward the southwest. Stonehenge was not a rough collection of rocks.
It was carefully planned monumental architecture. Stonehenge also contained smaller rocks known as bluestones. Many have been traced to the
Preseli Hills in western Wales, approximately 240 kilometers away. Although smaller than the sarsens,
Some weighed several tons. Their long journey may have been even more challenging than transporting the larger local stones. The exact route from Wales remains uncertain. The stones may have traveled across land,
along rivers, or around parts of the coastline. Every possible route presented serious dangers. Yet the builders refused to replace them with convenient local rock. These particular stones clearly possessed extraordinary importance.
The blue stones may have represented ancestral homelands, distant communities, or sacred locations.
some may already have been standing in another monument before being moved to Salisbury Plain. If so,
Their power may have come from their history. The builders were not simply transporting rocks, they were transporting memories. Near the center of Stonehenge lies a large slab, known as the altar stone. Today, it rests partly beneath fallen stones.
Researchers once believed it also came from Wales, but microscopic mineral grains hidden inside it revealed a far more astonishing origin. Scientific analysis indicates that the altar stone originated in northeast Scotland, at least 700 kilometers from Stonehenge.
In Neolithic Britain, such a journey would have crossed rivers, forests, mountains, and potentially dangerous seas. Its presence proves that distant communities were connected in ways once considered impossible.
transporting the altar stone entirely by land would have required a massive, organized effort. Moving it by sea might have reduced the distance, but placing such a heavy stone on a
Prehistoric vessel carried enormous risk. Whichever route was chosen, its journey was a remarkable achievement. The altar stone may have been offered by
a northern community as part of an alliance. It may have represented an important ancestor, marriage, homeland, or political connection. Its journey itself might have been sacred. But without written records, its true meaning remains locked inside the stone. One theory suggests Stonehenge was created to unite distant communities. Stones from Wales, Scotland, and southern England were brought together within one monument. Perhaps separate groups saw their identities represented inside the same circle. Stonehenge may have transformed an island of different peoples into one symbolic community.
Only a few kilometers away stands Durrington Walls, one of Britain's largest prehistoric enclosures.
Archaeologists discovered the remains of houses dating to approximately 2500 BC, the
Same period when Stonehenge's great stones were erected. The people living here may have been its builders.
The houses contained chalk floors, central hearths, pottery, tools, and remains of meals.
families cooked, rested, repaired equipment, and gathered around fires.
These discoveries reveal that Stonehenge's builders
were not mythical giants. They were ordinary human beings, capable of accomplishing something extraordinary.
Large quantities of animal bones, especially pig remains, were uncovered at Durrington walls.
Some carcasses appear to have been roasted during enormous communal feasts.
These gatherings may have celebrated seasonal ceremonies, important alliances, or progress on Stonehenge. Food helped unite the workforce behind the monument. Scientific evidence suggests some animals eaten
At Durrington walls were raised far from Salisbury Plain. Visitors may have travelled from different parts of Britain, bringing livestock with them. Stonehenge was probably not the achievement of one isolated village. It may have drawn together communities from across the island. Durrington walls contained monuments constructed from timber, while Stonehenge was built from permanent stone. Some archaeologists believe wood represented the living because it grows and decays. Stone may have represented ancestors because it survives. If true, this landscape was designed around the boundary between life and death.
Durrington walls and Stonehenge were connected to the River Avon through ceremonial avenues.
Processions may have travelled from the wooden monuments to the river and finally toward the stones. Cremated remains or offerings might have followed the same route, symbolically, passing from the living world into the realm of the ancestors.
Stonehenger's main axis was aligned with important movements of the sun.
Around the summer solstice, sunrise appears near the heel stone when observed from inside the monument. Such precision was not accidental. The builders had carefully studied the sky, but the opposite end of the solar cycle may have mattered even more. During the winter solstice, the sun sets between the tallest stones of the central arrangement.
Evidence of winter feasting at Durrington walls suggests people gathered during this dark season.
For those standing inside Stonehenge, the setting sun may have appeared framed by the monument's most powerful stones.
Winter was a dangerous period. Food supplies decreased, temperatures dropped, and nights grew longer. At the winter solstice, darkness reached its greatest extent. But after that moment,
the days slowly lengthened. The sun returned, carrying a promise that winter and death would not last forever. The solar alignment has encouraged claims that Stonehenge was an astronomical calendar or observatory.
its builders clearly understood important seasonal events. But there is no firm evidence
that the monument operated like a precise modern calendar or predicted complex eclipses.
Its relationship with the sky was likely ceremonial as well as practical. Another theory suggests the bluestones were believed to possess healing powers. Sick or injured people may have traveled to Stonehenge seeking relief. Human remains found in the wider landscape include individuals who came from distant regions.
However, distance alone cannot prove that healing was the reason for their journey.
Stonehenge's cremated burials connect the monument strongly with death and remembrance.
Perhaps the stones represented powerful ancestors whose presence protected the living. Entering the circle may have meant entering a sacred space.
where generations met, where the dead were not gone, but permanently woven into the landscape. Stonehenge was not completed according to one unchanging plan. Its bluestones were rearranged several times. New pits were dug, stones were repositioned, and the monument continued evolving. Different generations may have changed its design because their ceremonies and understanding of the sacred landscape had also changed.
The monument visible today is incomplete. Some stones collapsed, while others were broken or removed.
Empty sockets reveal where additional stones once stood. What survives is only part of the original structure. The missing sections may once have contained clues capable of transforming everything we believe about Stonehenge. Faint images of axes and at least one dagger were later carved into several stones. These markings probably belong to the Bronze Age, centuries after the main circle was erected.
They may have represented power, status, warfare, or ritual authority. By then, Stonehenge was already an ancient monument.
By approximately 1600 BC, major activity at Stonehenge appears to have declined.
Religious beliefs may have changed. Political networks may have disappeared, or communities may have chosen different sacred places. The stones remained, but the knowledge explaining their purpose slowly faded from human memory.
Medieval stories claimed that the wizard Merlin transported the stones from
Ireland using supernatural power. Later generations connected Stonehenge with the Druids.
But the monument was constructed thousands of years before the earliest written reference
to Druids in Britain. Legends filled the silence left by its forgotten builders.
Today, archaeologists use radiocarbon dating, isotope analysis, ground-penetrating radar, aerial photography, and microscopic mineral studies. These technologies reveal buried structures,
identify distant travelers, and trace stones to their geological origins.
Yet each new discovery seems to create another question, rather than providing one final answer.
Stonehenge was not created by aliens, giants, or supernatural forces. It was built by human
beings possessing intelligence, patience, engineering skill, and extraordinary social organization.
Explaining the monument through fantasy does not make it more impressive.
The truth that ordinary humans achieved it is far more powerful. Perhaps Stonehenge has remained mysterious because we continue searching for one simple purpose. But it existed for centuries. It may have served as a cemetery, ancestral sanctuary, seasonal
gathering place, solar monument, healing center, and symbol of unity, its meaning changing with every generation.
Science can determine where the stones originated. It can estimate when they were raised and reveal fragments of the people buried nearby. But no technology can recover the prayers once
spoken here, the ceremonies performed in its center, or the emotions felt when the winter sun
disappeared between the stones. Stonehenge has survived 5,000 years of storms, falling stones,
forgotten rituals, and changing civilizations. Its builders vanished, but their achievement still challenges everything we assume about the ancient world. Perhaps Stonehenge was never meant to give us an answer, but to preserve a mystery powerful enough to outlive its creators.